Hello viewers, today I came over here to this beautiful park. It's one of my old reminder, it's a memory when I used to bring one of my favorite dogs named Snowy, Barfi, to this park over here. And I used to come under these trees and he would play and everything. But this video is not about my pet dog. It's about my life story that I will continue. It's another phase, another category. And by now, if you have watched any of my videos on my YouTube channel, you can follow up and understand that what these videos about my life is all about. I'm gonna go ahead and basically just like a little title, explain like what it is, so that way, as I follow, you can just follow up. It's a story about when I used to live in the United States. I'm originally from Afghanistan, the capital Kabul. At the age of like 10 years old, I emigrated to the United States. And one of the first states that I used to live in was New York City. I lived in Queens, but I also visited Brooklyn, Bronx, Harlem, and all those other cities. Back in 1984, I think it was the time when I immigrated, 85, 84, 85. I think it was the year 86 that I moved to California. And I lived in Orange County, California, a place called Golden Grove, and then I moved to Santa Ana. But you can also see the view from this park is pretty long. And I come over here often for walks. Sometime back in the days when I had some depression and stress problems, I would come over here, take a long walks. This is the month of July, it's the summertime, so usually you get a pretty good weather. And I know that lately the weather has been pretty hot in other countries like China and other places. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk, and at the same time, you can get a view. Sorry, I don't have no cameraman, so I'm basically alone. I use my iPhone, my phone, and I just basically turn the camera on myself. I like working alone, just being by myself. I think it's better. Anyways, viewers, the purpose of this video is basically for anyone, especially younger generation people, who usually get in trouble with the law or family domestic problems. And if you listen to my story, if you want to learn something, you can probably learn a tip or something from it, or just a little bit of something. I'm going to go ahead and mention some important things, and just like get to the point, because I also don't want to waste any time. It's a video, and I'm alone. I basically record it with my phone. When I was younger, at the age 17 years old, in Santa Ana, California, Orange County, I became the leader of a gang. It was a Crip gang, but also in the city of Santa Ana, one of the most famous Mexican gangs that I can name was F Troop Santana. And those are what you call the Serranios. And then what happened is, when I was the leader of my gang at age 17 years old, we were like 40 something homies and homeboys and all that. But at the young age, you always think different. I was never a bad person. I just made some simple choices and mistakes. For example, I didn't listen to my parents when they used to give me advice not to stay out late at night. And they would always tell me don't go out late and come on time. And do good at school and stuff like that. I was good at school. I'm not gonna say I was an A and B student and nothing like that, but I probably didn't get any F's either. I got B's and C's and a little bit of A's. But anyways, it wasn't a school problem, because I did okay in school. If not good, I did okay. The thing is, when I would not listen to any advice from older people, I thought I knew everything, And then little by little, these problems caught up with me. When I ended up in the beginning, I started from juvenile hall. And then I ended up in CYA. CYA is California Youth Authority, which basically is juvenile prison. I was sentenced to CYA for 4 years for a basically auto theft, GTA, Grand Theft Auto. And to be honest, I wasn't even the one who Grand Thefted the auto. It was a friend, but then I took it from him. I was driving when I got stopped. But it wasn't just the GTA part. I had other prior history of criminal records. You know, possession of weapon, possession of drugs. I never sold it, but I used it and stuff like that. Like cocaine and stuff like that. Not a lot, but just, if you get stopped with just having a little, any kind of drugs, you're going to get a felony for it, or misdemeanor. Depends what your record is. When I was sentenced to CYA, I went to the reception center in Norwalk, California. Back then it was like that, I don't know how it is now. And then from there I was sent to Paso Robles. And Paso Robles is located, I think, somewhere by Bakersfield, California. I escaped from Paso Robles, and then I ended up in Chad. It was in Northern California, Stockton. That's like the Bay Area, San Francisco, Sacramento, and all that. Anyways, when I went to Chad, I was a really violent person. And Chad was actually built for people like all the violent gang members and anyone who was sent there, especially if you had a problem in other California youth authorities like YTS and Nelson, that was for younger people, like any other ones. I even got a problem, my memory, that I can't remember how many CYAs there were. Anyways, so when I went to Chad, I went to Chad because I escaped from Paso Robles and I had money assaults and fights with other wards. They don't call it inmates, they call you wards at CYA. And then when I went to Chad, they call a place the Gladiator School. They call it Junior Pelican Bay at that time. Anyways, I ended up assaulting a staff in Chad, a police officer, one of the guards. And I caught more time. 4 years was a max, which means I was only supposed to do 1 year. But when I escaped from Paso Robles, I got a time out. When I went to Chad, I assaulted a police officer, a guard, I got another time out. Every inmate or ward that you get in a fight with, you also get a time out. So everything added up, I came close to maxing out. I was on solitary confinement for a long time. Yeah, I even spent like months, 6 months, a year in solitary confinement. I was in Chad in solitary confinement after I assaulted a staff for like 1 year. And then I was also a problem inside the solitary confinement. So what happened, they finally sent me to YTS in Chino, California. YTS is youth training school. But compared to Chad, YTS was like a playground. It was Disneyland. I mean, that's how worse Chad was at that time. And I'm a person from Afghanistan. I've been to wars and, many problems here. And Afghanistan is known to anyone in the world that they named Afghanistan the unconquerable nation. All superpowers have failed in this country. And believe me when I tell you, Chad was the worst place at that time. It was like that. And anyways, after I went to YTS, I mentioned that in my other video, I don't want to just make it repeatedly. They sent a psychologist to speak with me. And the psychologist basically mentioned to me that they think that you should be 1800, taken back to court, given another new sentence because they think you're not fit to go out in society and community. And I explained to the psychologist, no, it's just, I got time marked for escaping AWOL from Paso Robles and catching a case, assault on a guard and stuff like that. Rather than that, I'm okay. I was a violent person, getting in fights with everyone. That's it. That's how CYA is. It depends what CYA you're in. I was in Chadron or places like that. But anyways, I finally maxed out from YTS. When I came out, this is the most important part of this video. Anyone, anywhere in the world, if you're listening to this video, this is the most important part. When I went to Wasco State Prison, and if I was to count the whole thing from on top of the list, I started out from juvenile hall, ended up in CYA, California Youth Authority. When I got out from YTS, the last CYA, I ended up in Wasco State Prison. I was only sentenced there for a year, a short period. When I went to Washington State Prison, I promised myself that if I don't leave the United States, I'm gonna end up catching 3 strikes law. Because I mentioned in my other video that at that time, 3-strike law was in effect. I had 1 strike. Or I'm gonna end up doing many years in prison. And the most important part of this video for anyone who wants to take a note of this is this. All myself, I choose to be deported back to Afghanistan. I mean, the judge was amazed, the immigration judge. I was sentenced to a place called Phoenix, Arizona. It was like what you may call it, I got a hard time remembering stuff, immigration. It was immigration, back then it was INS, Immigration Neutralization Service. I think later on they named it Homeland Security. At the time when I was in the United States, it was still INS, Immigration Neutralization Service. So when I went to court over there, and they gave me the choice to stay in the United States or I'll be deported, I told them just deport me. He said, you know, and that was during the first Taliban regime. We're talking about 1998. We know that the Taliban were overthrown in 2001. I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Anyways, I'll be doing much more videos. And if you're anyone who wants to follow up, on any advice how to change your life. Viewers, I was a person who couldn't stay out of jail for like more than 3 months. Today, I swear to God, it's been 23 or 24 years. I never saw the face of any kind of incarceration, facility, institutions, jails, prisons, none of that. I mean, I've seen a lot of hard times and good times, but I made one of the most important decisions in my life when I choose to be deported, all because I understood that I would keep getting in trouble. And if you want to follow up on my other videos, please follow up. I'll be uploading other videos. But I just got some advice for any young people and anyone at any age, male, female, anyone. When someone gives you advice, especially family members or older people, take their advice because they always want to give you good advice. Those are the people that really like you and care about you and want to give you advice because they care about you. You know, it's always friends, homeboys, homies, and enemies who wants to give you the wrong advice. And with all the problems going on around the world right now, all these wars and conflicts and stuff, with all this economic downfall, I mean, you don't need to make any other more problems for your family members, friends, and any other loved ones. Try to follow up on my other YouTube channels and please subscribe. I want to do programs on depression, stress, domestic family problems, suicidal thoughts and all that. And if you can follow up on any of my videos, I'm just going to be doing a lot of videos on issues like this. I also do videos on antiquity, rare coins, rare books, rare stamps, all kinds of stuff. Cooking, sports, parks, adventure, you know what I mean? Anything. And I also got plans to travel to some other parts of Afghanistan and record some good videos from other like historical places. Viewers, I want to thank you for watching this video, and if we can also try to support, I got an animals website. I also take care of like animals, like dogs especially, those that have problems like with illnesses, like either dogs that are abandoned on the streets and having problems. I take care of them. I took care of like 12 dogs already. And I have a website. It was a GoFundMe site, but I don't have the, what you may call it, channel with me because someone created for me. Like GoFundMe site cannot be created from Afghanistan. This person was in Australia, created for me, someone by the name of Cathy. But he's no longer in contact with me. But if you want to like try to support my animal rescue program, send me a comment on my YouTube. I will also try to upload my WhatsApp number and email address. And if you can stay in touch with me. If you have a problem or questions about anything, I'll be more than happy to help you. And I'll be more than happy to give you advice, or I can take your advice. I'm not a doctor or professional or a psychologist. but I just had a lot of experience throughout the world. I mean, I've been to all different places, and some of the toughest and serious choices that I made. And I seem to be that I stood out of jail for like 23, 24 years. That was one of the best choices that I made. When I was a person who couldn't stay out of these problems more than 3 months, 4 months. Anyways, I want to thank you, and please view my other videos. Thank you.